Hi, this is Elisa, and today I want to show you how to create one of these fun filigree bracelets. They're easy to make and they look really cute. Here's it on mine. They're completely adjustable, and you could add more to it. You could change the color of the filigree with some pigment ink, anything you want to do, but I'm just going to show you how to create the flower and how to get started with this, because I have a really good trick for getting the bezel to be the exact size. So I want to show you that. I'm going to be using Primo brand clay. That's my choice, but you can use any clay that you like to work with. And this is the red glitter that I'm going to use. And I've just rolled it out to a flat sheet, and this is the third thickest setting on my pasta machine. But you can make it as thick or as thin as you want. Depending on your bezel, you know, you have to adjust for the size of the bezel. If it's a deep bezel and you're not planning on adding any resin or anything like that, then you might have to do a thicker piece of clay. So you just have to adjust to whatever the bezel is that you're doing. We're not using this mold, but I have these Swarovski crystals in there, and we're going to be using some of those. And I have a needle tool, which is always good to have on hand, and I also have a knitting needle, which is another tool that's good to have on hand. And of course I have my blade and a rod to roll out the clay into a flat sheet, which is already done there. This is a product I think I showed you on another show called a Kemper cutter, and they come in all kinds of sizes and shapes, and you can find them online. They sell them on Amazon. There's a link on our website at polymerclaytv.com. So that is that. And I'm going to be using, this is like a medium size one. So you can use a smaller size teardrop shape. And these are going to be my petals. And you're also going to need a rubber stamp of your choice for the middle, or whatever you decide you want to do. So I'm just going to use like a wood grain shape, but I'm going to use the heart this time here. Well, I don't know if the heart will fit in there. That's another thing you have to consider. The heart may not fit. So I'm going to use this rubber stamp here, and that is going to be the design that I put in the middle. So I will stamp that right into the clay and then cut it out. So let me start with that. I'm going to stamp my design first. Now, there's two different ways you could do this. You could either stamp it first or stamp it after, but I prefer stamping it before I put it in the bezel, because when you go to stamp on a piece of clay, it stretches out. So if you measure your bezel before you've stamped on it, chances are it's not going to fit after the fact. It's going to be too wide. So that's why I like to stamp before I go and try to put it in the bezel. So you would just line up wherever you want to stamp, and then impress your clay. Impress the stamp into your clay. And I'm just rolling over it, applying a little pressure so that the stamp imprints into the clay. And then I'm just peeling this off. And there I have a design ready to go. I like to use my blade to help pick it off my work surface so I don't distort it. So that's another little tip I can share with you there. Now, here's the design. I haven't done anything to highlight it or whatever. I just want to pick the area that I want to use. And I guess I'm going to go with maybe this little area right here. So I kind of want to line it up from the front and kind of get an idea where I'm going to need to place it. And I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to take my bracelet blank, and I'm going to press it. And this is the thing, you have to be careful with this. You don't want to press it too much that you distort the image that's on the other side. So you just want to give it a nice push down, maybe rock it a little, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to cut out the bezel and have it go right into, or rather cut out the clay and have it go right into the bezel, and there you have it. I mean, that was super simple. It was just a matter of, you know, stamping it, turning it over on the back side, and pressing the bezel in, and it cuts it itself. So how cool is that? Super, super easy. Now at this point, I could add some powdered pigments, I can add some ink, anything I want to do, but right now I'm just going to show you the technique, and then you can do what you like with it. So actually I could use this textured that I have left over to create petals. So I think I'm actually going to do that and just randomly pick some images on here. And this acts as a little cookie cutter, and you can press down on the plunger and to pop it out. The only thing is when you press on that plunger, you have to be careful not to press too hard, because if you press too hard, then you'll A, distort the design, or 2, you'll get a little round mark on your design that you don't want. Well, usually when you're working in glass, like a glass or tile surface, the clay will stick to the glass or tile surface, so it doesn't necessarily stay in the cutter, so that actually makes it easier for you because you don't have to plunge it out. So I want to say I need about 11 of these and random designs, and I'm just kind of going all over. So that's 4. I'm just kind of taking different areas. I'm not looking for any specific look here. Just something to go around this outer area here. So I've got 3, 6. I think I need 11, I think I said. 7, 8. It goes pretty fast though. That's the thing. These Kemper cutters make your life a lot easier. So they do come in hearts, they come in stars, they come in flowers, they come in these teardrops, they come in circles. So you can find them for any kind of project. So I think I have enough now. Let me just move this aside. Don't discard it. You know, you can crumble it back up and use it for something else. Okay, so one of the things I do is just place it right on the side here, kind of as like a starting point. Okay, so that way when I go around, I know I'm going to just need the same amount on both sides. So you can do that on both sides if you like. Now, one of the things about polymer clay is it adheres really well to metal. Like Kira asked me, she's like, well, don't you have to glue it first because it won't come off the filigree? Because I guess she's had experiences where it has. I did not glue this one at all, and it hasn't come off. If I really tried to, I could pick it off, but it really is adhered to the metal. You can see that. But if you were nervous about it, you could pull this whole thing off and then glue it on. So that's an option as well I wanted to share with you. So then I just continue to place these around, and I don't push them on except these first 2 really well until after I've got my design laid out. That way it's not hard to move them around. You can just pick them up and move them easily that way. So that looks good. And let me do the other side. You just want to make sure that it's facing the way it should face, you know, like a petal would face. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. Place it on there till I got exactly what I want. And I remembered there was one overlapping because it didn't quite, that's why I needed the 11. So there we go. And that looks about right. So now at this point I can start to give him a little press so that it adheres it, but not enough that I distort the design, because like this, you can distort this stamp design if you press too hard, obviously. So you just want to make a light, you know, press so that you have that adhesion, but not too much that you distort it. So there you have that, and let me show you how I would add the crystals. I like to take a knitting needle and start at the center here, and again I'm pushing down and pulling back, so I created a little groove where I can place this, and actually that pushing down also helps to adhere it to the metal, so there's advantages for that. And so then I place it where I want, and then I come back with my knitting needle and give it a nice push down there into the spot, and there you have it. And then you can continue to go all the way around like I did here, and or you can even alternate different colors of crystals. You could do anything you want. You could build up in the middle and add more design to it, and you can also take some ink if you'd like. Let's see, this would be pretty, this color here. Let's give it a little extra color. And you could take a little ink and add it to the edges if you'd like. It's not going to show up on camera, it's too dark. But, you know, you can just use your imagination and make it any way you want. I like to pinch my edges and kind of make it more like a realistic flower instead of something that looks like it was cut out of a teardrop cutter. So there's little tips that you can do to make it more your own and make it, you know, just so it doesn't look like it came out of a cookie cutter, you know. And if you find that things are pulling off, you can always take, there's a glue on the market called Sobo, S-O-B-O, and you could put a layer of Sobo glue down first before you even put your petals on, and then put it on, and that will really help it adhere. So if you're having trouble with it moving around on you, I would advise you to do that. Get the Sobo glue, S-O-B-O, and it's inexpensive, and it can actually go in the oven so you can put it on before you bake this, so you won't have any problems. So that's another way to get it to really adhere, so you don't have to worry about it. And like I was mentioning before, look at me leaning on the ink. You could change the color of the metal with these dye inks. You see how I changed it? Because the dye inks will heat set. So when I put this in the oven, if I leave this ink on there, it'll be that color when it comes out because it'll have now set onto the metal filigree. So that's another tip to change up the look of things too, because maybe this isn't the right color for you. Don't worry about it. You can change it. It's so easy to do. I mean, you saw it took 2 seconds. So there you have it. You can check out our website to see some other ideas. These are part of a kit that we have, and the kit comes with one of these bracelet blanks. It comes with 2 of these pendants, and these are nice. You know, they're not too heavy that they're, you know, going to weigh you down, but they're a nice weight that they're just not all flimsy, you know. And it comes with a pair of these earrings. So you get the bezel blank for the bracelet, 2 of these pendant ones, and a pair of these filigree earrings. So it's a really cute kit. You can check it out on our website at polymerclaytv.com and have fun with it.